Paul Nebrasky from Nebrasky Plumbing and Heating. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
We love having you here.
And Paul, of course, Paul does all of New York, Northern Jersey. He's all over the place pretty much.
Yeah, call him up. I don't care where you are.
Yeah. So what's on your mind today, Paul?
Well, it's when I came in this morning, it's 42 degrees, but it feels like spring. It
does.
Yeah. And what happens in spring is air conditioning, and we're all getting ready to hopefully turn our air conditioning really soon. So what's really important is
do you put in central air?
We absolutely do central air.
We're calling Paul very shortly.
I know, because Taylor doesn't like the heat.
I can't take it. I need central air, but we're in an A-frame, so I know there's a special. I know they have these. Now Frank says it.
Well, let Paul do his show, and then we'll
talk
catch
about
him
all right.
Yeah, thanks, Taylor.
So we're gonna. I got some trivia for you today.
Okay.
I have some great HVAC tips, what to do. So the first thing we're going to talk about HVAC, and we're going to talk about really air conditioning part. And a lot of customers do not realize if they have a new unit or even a little bit old, to keep the warranty going on that, you need a tune-up. So most importantly, just like for a warranty for the car, you need to get the oil change. You need to have it serviced to keep that warranty in. So very important, whether it's an old system and your warranty is not there, or even a brand new system, is an HVAC tune-up once a year. And actually, you should do it in the heating season, and you should do it in the cooling season.
So what takes place when they?
Yeah, why should we do the
and
central air one? Yeah,
the
happens?
Central air one should happen probably right around May, June. You want it to be warm out so we can properly test the system.
Right.
And we'll come in, we'll test, we'll make sure the filters are changed, and we'll talk about filters in a minute because it's really one of the most important overlooked part of any HVAC system.
I told you this morning. I said he's going to say filters.
I heard you say that, and even before we get to filters, I would say about 50%, maybe a little bit less, of our calls that people don't have enough heating and air conditioning is their filters are dirty. Okay, and
that's a high percentage.
Yeah, that's probably way too high. But first thing on the phone, our receptionist says, "As you change your filter," and the reason we bring that up is because if it's dirty, air can't pass through the system, and now now you have no heating or air conditioning. So it's really important to make sure that your filters change.
So that's a simple task to do to avoid major issues.
They sell them for $1.99 at Home Depot. It's $3.99.
Buy 10 of them and just change them. How often?
Does it matter whether I spend? Some of them are like $10, Paul. Is it the HEPA things and who knows what?
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Who knows what? Some of them do work for if you have allergies and stuff. But make sure the filters change either way. Okay.
Should they change them once a month?
Every 3 months.
Every
3 months, a filter needs to be changed.
Cheapest thing you're going to do to save money.
And I'm telling you, I think 50% is too high, but many calls we get there, and the filter's totally clogged. Especially if you have animals, pets.
Oh yeah, we got those.
Okay, yeah. and that's on a hot air system. Okay,
right.
A system that blows air. A boiler with baseboard heat or steam heat doesn't have filters. So we're talking a hot air system, okay, that blows the air from vents. So that's a simple thing. And during that tune-up, we're going to check that filter. We're going to check that your refrigerant is proper inside your unit. We're going to run the system. We're going to make sure that everything is working properly. Takes us about an hour, or any HVAC contractor about an hour. And that we find that most of the calls that we get during the summer or the winter for no heat or no air conditioning, those customers did not have a tune-up.
Yeah, okay. So it's important to do that because it's preventive medicine.
And it works, and it works. And I can tell you straight out, without the tune-up, and we're going to find things that are starting to break down. Right. And we can tell you, hey, this might not need to be changed. You can change it now or change it in the future.
Right.
So really, that's really the two most important things for air conditioning. Check your filters and make sure that you have it tuned up.
Now, I know that sometimes you can see these little labels on the filters and things that you put the date down that you last changed your filter, because who remembers?
Fantastic idea, 100%. Every 3 months. And again, the HEPA filters are good. It's what you want.
It's what you want to do. And I mean, you can go in there and you got to make sure you get the right size one too, Paul, right? So make sure you write down the numbers because Home Depot has like about 30 different sizes out there. And you got to get the right one to get it in there and do it. And if you don't do it, like you said, it gets clogged up. And what happens? Does it cause more force to try to push through it?
So when there's no airflow, you can't get air in and you can't get air out. So on air conditioning, you need airflow through the coil that's there. It kind of looks like a radiator. It's a coil that goes through and actually freezes it up.
Oh.
and then your system,
There's a problem.
There's a problem.
And the other question, Paul, is people don't realize there is only one way to put it in. There's a right way and the backwards way. What should I look for when I'm putting it in?
there's always an arrow on the filter. There's always an arrow on the filter. Okay, and that arrow is facing towards the flow. And a great idea with you, Frank, to get the right filter, what I always tell customers to do, either bring it with you or take a picture with the
Oh,
on
that's
your
a
phone.
good idea.
On your phone
Okay.
now. That's a big thing,
Yeah.
the phone thing. Take a picture and bring it in. And if you're
Makes
not
it a
sure,
lot easier.
ask somebody at the store. But, like I said, you don't have to spend a lot of money. The other ones are a little flimsier, but they still do the job, right? I mean, they still,
They still do the job. They're stopping, dirt from coming into that. So let's talk about what your filter does. So sometimes we get to somebody's house and the filter is dirty, they take it out. And if you take that filter out, all that dog hair, all that dust, everything that you see under your couch is now inside your heating unit.
Oh boy.
Okay, and then it's inefficient, it's dirty, it's not healthy. So just don't take it out and put another one in. I got to tell you, we get to people's houses a lot of times and the filter's missing. Why? Because they took it out and
They
never
took
put
it out.
back.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
not good.
So
Oh, yeah,
let's make sure that that you do that also. All right. So now that's really the most important stuff to do on the inside. Get it tuned up, change the filter. Also on the inside, we talked about there. It's springtime. Clean your registers. Clean your registers.
Oh, that's
gonna be
true.
dirty.
Yeah, there's an attachment on every vacuum cleaner that has a long pole, and you can
I
just
want
put up there.
I want Paul to notice the vent above his head, how clean it is up there.
Oh, 'cause
I
Frank
clean-
takes
I
care.
did that just like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
I looked
we
at
should
it.
ask him
it was,
about that.
It was filthy. It had dirt on it. It was just so I went up there with the vacuum cleaner and a little rag, and I cleaned it right out.
And that's every filter. A little bit dirt's going to miss. It's going to get through, and you
Yeah.
clean it. And that's, again, clean the filters.
So in here, what happened is the guy that put in the duct system, in our office, it's like 20 below, and in here, it's like 110. And we have what we end
Well-
up doing is putting something over it.
Yeah.
So that we can. during
Well,
the-
that's adjustments, and when
yeah,
you go
but
for the
can't do
tune-up,
it here.
I guess you can adjust too, because certain, the problems here is you're in a room that doesn't get the sun. It's kind of got, so when it gets cold in there, it gets cold. When it gets hot in there, it stays hot. Whereas we're freezing in the other rooms,
So, and that is adjustments. If it was done properly, there's dampers up in the attic.
Yeah, there are.
And
Yeah.
we can shut them and balance the system for you. When we put a new system in, we balance it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we'll come into a customer's house and they'll say, big thing is the bedroom over the garage is too cold in the winter. So hopefully we can balance it, but sometimes we can't, depending on how much sun's coming in. But we can do that for you.
Oh, that's
we can
make
do
an
that for
amazing
you.
difference.
So staying with air conditioning, the next thing's a really simple one. We got to move outside. So outside of the air conditioning system, we have the condenser. It's a square box that you see outside. If everybody knows,
Makes a lot of noise.
The new ones do not. The old ones
don't?
make a lot of noise. The new ones
Right.
are very quiet, like anything else.
Oh, good.
Okay.
But it has to be put on a cement block.
Correct. And what happens is over the winter, or after the summer, trees start to grow, leaves get in it, it gets obstructed.
Is it a good idea to put a cover over it in the winter when it's not running?
It's not a bad idea to put a cover over it. But you bring up a good point. I can't tell you how many customers forget to take that cover
I can
off.
take it off. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that would
Oh,
not
yeah.
be
And I was
fun.
going to bring that up, see that? And forget to take it off when they turn it on.
Yeah.
So those take air in. So if it's covered with leaves, tree branches, sometimes mice get in there over the winter, especially you have a cover over it, they want a nice so make sure that's free and clear of any obstructions. You can hose it down, but part of our checkup, we check that for you also. All right, so but as a homeowner, if we're not there yet, or you haven't called your HVAC contractor, you don't want to tune up, check these things and make sure those are done properly for you. So to me, that's really the biggest things with HVAC to check.
Now, do you also do annual cleaning of the furnaces?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay.
really, what I suggest to a customer is twice a year. Once during heating season,
Right.
and once during cooling season.
Right.
And again, we find that our customers who do that religiously, and we've looked back, have less service calls during the winter and less service calls during the summer. Almost none. Almost none.
That's great.
And Paul, I would say about 10 years or so, I had to replace the whole system. It was a system that was like 30 years old. Once I did that, and I mean everything, we took everything I put in, my electric bill, it dropped to like next to nothing. The efficiency of today's units is just incredible over what was out there 20, 30 years ago.
Incredible. We didn't worry about electric 20, 30 years
No.
ago. It's just like we go into people's houses, they have electric baseboard heat. And because electric was inexpensive at the time.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
the time. Well, you know what? It's still, I think, on the same level as oil. I mean, I would say by the end of the year, you're going to pay, if you have electric heat, as much or a little bit more than oil. I mean, it's not, nothing's cheap
Depends on
anymore.
what you do and how warm you like it in the house and everything. You know, electric heat in the house, which is what I have back in
It
Jersey.
dries the house out.
You know, it's okay in the fact that you just turn off the rooms you're not using. You don't have to worry about it. There's a lot less maintenance to it. But the problem is if you leave them on or you have a lot of people in the house and you're there in a cold winter, you're gonna pay a lot of money for that stuff.
And there really is the drive right now with New York State and the country for high efficiency units.
Yeah.
So all the units we've been putting on for heating and that we recommend are as high as 98% efficient.
Wow.
All right. And back 20 years ago, we were putting in heating systems that were 75% efficient. So
That's a
so
big
you're almost talking
difference.
about a 25% savings
Huge.
from an old system to a new system.
Absolutely.
And if you're thinking about a new system, something that a lot of people miss is insulation. Insulation is, if your house isn't insulated and sealed and you have air escaping from everywhere, which a lot of houses do,
Sure.
I can put in the most efficient system there is, but it's just still leaving. So I tell a lot of customers, we do home energy assessments. I tell a lot of customers, before you put the new heating system in, let's get some insulation in the house. Let's find where the cold air is coming in. We do a thing called the blower door test, where we put the house into negative pressure. And then we can see and feel where all the cold air
Wow.
is coming in.
That's pretty
And you'll be
amazing.
amazed at what we find.
I'm sure.
And even in a older house, you can blow in insulation to the walls. And so to me, insulation is just as important as a high efficiency unit. So now's the
They
time.
work
to
hand
look
in
for that.
hand.
They work hand in hand.
That's for sure.
They work hand in hand. So insulation is just as important as a high efficiency unit. I don't like putting a high efficiency unit in a low efficiency house.
It doesn't make sense.
Now, one of the things Taylor did bring up, which is interesting, when we think of central air conditioning installations and everything, we think of the unit outside and everything else. But aren't there some kind of homes where you don't have really the attic space, where you have to go with those individual wall
yeah, what are
outdoors?
they called?
Are
They're
they as
called
good?
ductless systems.
Yeah,
Yes.
they good.
They're fantastic. It's my number one bestseller now.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
we put.
The only thing I don't like is what they look like in the room on the wall.
You know, everybody says that, Taylor, and even my wife, because we have a couple at home.
That's why I like Eileen.
Yeah, but you don't notice them. Once you put it in and it's up high, you do not notice them.
Well, we have an A-frame. I think I'm going to notice.
Well,
They're highly efficient. They also work on heating. They're heat pumps also.
Right.
They're quiet where you do not hear them. They come with a remote control. It's really my number one bestseller now.
is that because it's easier to retrofit into a existing home than it would be a central unit?
Yes, that's number one. But even on new homes, we put them in because people don't want to see ductwork. You know, some attics don't have room. Yes, but that
And
is
you
the main
don't have
reason.
an attic or a basement.
Well, yeah, in a house like I have a bi-level, we air conditioned upstairs.
But you
after
couldn't do
bought it,
downstairs.
couldn't do downstairs. There is no air conditioning downstairs.
Unless you want to lose a closet or a pantry to drop the lines down.
Yeah.
So really, efficiency-wise, we put more of those units in now than we do regular air conditioning. And
So that would be what we'd have to do in the A-frame.
Yeah, yeah. Which cost-wise, is it more or less to do the? About the
depending
same?
on the house, sometimes it's a lot less because we don't have to cut ceilings, we don't have to cut walls.
Oh, that's true.
We don't have to run ductwork.
And how many units do you need? Like the A-frame is what, about 1,500
Well,
square
see, your
feet?
A-frame would be good because it's mostly open. We might be able to
Right.
get one unit to do the whole room, and then then you got to deal with the bedrooms, of course.
Yeah,
but the main area we might be able to get.
That's true.
So
Even for those wall-mounted units, is the same where you can get a different amount of BTU per?
absolutely,
Really?
And the great thing about the wall mounting units, again, for a little bit more money, they will also do heating. All right,
And
so
made cheaper than oil.
and it's cheaper than oil, and it goes to about 23 degrees out that it will heat. Actually, some of them are lower, so it's a good unit. I would not discount those walls.
You know, it makes, and I'll tell you what, when you have the proper air in your home, especially in the summertime now with it getting warm outside, it's comfortable in there. Everything lasts better. It's nice and dry. Everything is good. But a lot of people get concerned about the price sometimes because it's going to cost. It's a big
yeah.
ticket item.
What's
Is
more
financing
expensive?
available for this? Can you get financing, or how does that?
We finance as a company, so most good companies are going to have a finance plan.
So I can pay over time.
Yes, and there's 0% interest. There's
Really?
a lot. There's a lot to do with air
So what's
conditioning.
That's, because that's the
I'm
way to
calling
go.
Paul when he goes
'cause
off the air.
when you're seriously, because when you're talking about if you don't have central air and you want to put it in your home, you could be spending $10,000 as a ballpark, and a lot of people don't have that cash or the avail, and they don't want to go out and try to secure a loan. You take all of that, and a lot of it's 0%.
Yeah, I mean, we use a third-party company, much like if you go to the furniture store.
Sure. Right.
Right, but we offer it, and a lot of our customers finance, and
Yeah.
especially when we have the specials where it's 0% financing. Why not do that? Okay.
Yeah.
Why not do that? I want to go over one quick thing, and I got some trivia for you guys.
Oh, I
before-
can't
All
wait.
righty.
I'm
But
excited.
I just want to go over one important thing to our listeners: dryer vents. Okay,
Oh,
most
yeah.
people forget their dryer vents.
Well, let me ask you this, because our dry vent, the guy put it in, and he went through the top of the ceiling, and then he went through the section over the cabinets in the kitchen to vent it out. And something happened in the back where the vent moved away from the
And it fell
dryer,
off.
And it fell off, so nothing's going out, but nothing's
How dangerous
clogged
is
up.
that, Paul? Tell us what can happen.
Unbelievable fires, carbon monoxide.
We have to get that fixed.
So what I want to tell, springtime is a great time to check your dryer vent. Make sure it's not clogged, look behind your dryer. There's professional companies, I do not, who will come out and clean that dryer vent. Just really check your dryer vent. A lot of fires are caused by blocked dryer vents, carbon monoxide. So again, springtime is a good time,
You're going to have to pull everything out in order
Yeah,
to
and
put
do it from there. And Paul, I know one thing we had noticed since it was done many, many years ago, the vent coming out of mine, it was the metal coming up into the ceiling. Then from the ceiling to the outside of the house, they use that vinyl material thing.
Illegal now.
That's right. That they originally, now check your homes. If you have a home that's over 20 years old, or whatever. So I had the tubing, the flexible tubing, the rest of the way, which is flammable. And I would assume, when the guy was looking
Whose
at that
genius
stuff,
idea was that?
well, that's the way it was done back in
It
the
was
day.
done back then, that's
it.
correct.
Wow.
So now they figure that if you get something in the thing, that's a flammable thing. It really needs to be the
And it
the
crushes
metal.
easy.
Change it out.
It's illegal now. The code states it has to be metal duct now.
Metal duct. So if
Makes sense.
check it out if you're in your home, and you have to really stay with the metal. It's
I
very
want to
safe.
hear the trivia. I love trivia.
All right. Hey, don't look.
I'm not. Come on. You act like I could actually see it without my
Okay.
reading glasses.
All right, this one's for Frank and Taylor.
Okay.
All right. First automobile to have air conditioning.
Oh.
You guys are car guys.
I'm going to have to take a guess on this one.
Me too. I'm going to say a
If
Ford.
any of our listeners know, we'll
Is
go
it
for
was
too.
it was it a popular car? Was it a popular brand?
He didn't say you could ask
Yeah,
questions.
so it's not going to be one of the. I don't think it's going to be one of the major manufacturers there,
No,
Taylor.
all right, you're good there.
It's
You're good.
gotta be-
Not a
Okay,
major
so it's not a
manufacturer.
Ford.
Yeah, no. It's going to be.
Foreign car?
No, it's going to be. Boy, I'm trying to think of what it was. What was that big? I can't think of the name of the car. It was very
Not
expensive.
a Lincoln, not a
You're getting close.
Yeah,
not
what
a
was the-
Dodge, not a Chrysler, not a Ford.
A Duesenberg.
All right, close.
No.
It was the Packard.
Oh,
Packard.
And let's
great looking car too.
1939.
Wow.
Really?
Which is pretty amazing to me. And what do you think the option cost at that time? For the time, it was pretty expensive.
500?
Oh,
Close.
yeah, maybe 700.
$274.
Oh my God.
Well, that's a lot of money back in 1939.
That is a lot. That is a lot of
That's
money.
a lot
back
of money.
there.
That's
and
buy a car for that almost back then.
Yeah, so I figured. I picked that one
That
for
was
you guys.
cool.
And there are a lot of cars. I have a car that was manufactured in '69 that has air conditioning in it. But it was so
The
so
70
basic.
Challenger?
Yeah, it was so basic back then though, and it worked okay. You got cool air, but it was what it was.
The funny thing when I was reading about the Packard is they sent the air in from the back of the car, as today's air conditioning comes
From
from
the
From
front.
the front.
Yeah. So I'm not sure why in
I
1939.
wonder why they changed it. That
But-
would be more.
But I thought that was
That's pretty
Very-
cool.
I love it.
All right. Okay, I got one for Mike. All right.
Okay.
All right, Mike,
All
because
right.
you're younger.
Because you're younger, all right? It's not an air conditioning question, but
Okay.
we do plumbing also. Okay? We do plumbing also. All right? All right, don't look.
I'm not
okay?
gonna look.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
his eyes are better than mine.
What day of the year are the most toilets flushed?
What day in the year the most?
Oh,
toilets
I know.
flushed?
I'll bet you I know.
I know, and
Sunday.
What day of the
okay.
year of the
I'm
whole
sorry,
year?
hold on.
No,
I'm
no, no.
sorry.
thinking day of the
week.
No. So I'm saying it's an event. I'll give you a hint. It's an event.
So one time a year.
I know
more,
what it
more
is.
toilets flushed than any other time of the year.
I say Sunday for football. My guess is going to be Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday at halftime. Super Bowl Sunday.
Good
at halftime.
answer.
Wow.
All right. Well, it kind of
That's
makes sense,
fantastic.
right?
Wow.
Everybody's drinking.
Everybody's drinking. Everybody's drinking popcorn, right? Like, Mike's the sports guy, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of gave you a little hint on that one.
No, for sure. Yeah, you said right before we came on the air, it has to do with sports. I'm like, it's got to be football.
All right, so I got you. All right, one more before I go. All
Go.
right?
Yeah, loving it.
How long in the average lifetime does a person spend on the toilet?
Oh, we talking about Taylor here?
I read this somewhere.
I actually went through college on the toilet.
Toilers, Toiler.
That's your
That's
new
your
name.
Better than trailer.
All right.
That's true. Taylor's still on the toilet right now. But no, it's
Take,
let's see. How long
I went
for
through college on the toilet. It was in
how
a
much
quiet place
time in
the
a
dorm.
lifetime you spend?
Yeah, and it's funny because I wanted to.
It's years.
It's
No,
years,
yeah.
absolutely.
Is it really?
And it's a big, spread here because there's certain people who, so there's a big
Sit
spread
more
here.
than others.
There's more than others.
So what is it? What is the actual?
I bet you-
It's 1.5 to 3 years of your life.
I was going to guess way over that.
Wow.
That's incredible.
No wonder why they're made out of porcelain. You wear the things
got a
out.
permanent circle
and now,
on your
my
butt.
toilet at home is heated, so that's a new big
that's
thing.
really nice.
So you can even spend more time on it.
But see, that's it. People spend a lot of time in the bathrooms. They want that, high class bathroom these days. They want a high class kitchen. It's the rooms you spend a lot of time in. And you get to realize now the bathrooms aren't the way they used to be anymore.
No.
It's not just the
not your
bathroom.
grandfather's bathroom.
It's a bathroom. You got to
No,
get in
absolutely
it.
not.
And no outhouse involved.
It's amazing.
Hey, you know what? One of our friends is thinking of getting their bathroom done, and they were going to spend
Oh, jeez.
$40,000
That's
on doing the bathroom.
insane.
They
You
want to
can
change a
even
tub into a shower and stuff. Is that too much money?
No, I hear that much money for bathrooms all the time.
Wow.
Really?
And I have, oh yeah, and bathrooms and kitchens. I'm not a real estate agent, but I hear this all the time. Sell homes.
They
Yeah,
do.
They do.
They sell homes, and they're
Now, do you
constantly.
redo bathrooms and kitchens?
I do not redo bathrooms
Okay.
and kitchens, but I work for companies who do.
Okay.
And things change every year. Back in the 80s, we were putting in whirlpools in everybody's house.
Right.
And my customers would say to me all the time, I never used it. I used it the day you put it in.
Yep.
And now I wash the kids in it. And now the kids are gone and it just sits there. So now we're putting in the standalone tub is back. Things come back. So now people are taking out their whirlpools and we're putting in standalone tubs. Everything
It's a
seems,
fad, you know.
It comes
and-
around, and when you look at the old Whirlpool things, they look outdated. They go in the bathrooms and they show it on these house hunter things. They look at it and go, "Oh, this has got to go." It's got
I'm telling you, in the 80s, everybody had to have one.
with the gold fixtures and everything else on it, and they
Yeah,
just go out
oh.
of style.
Exactly. So now everything, as we talked about, is the smart technology too in bathrooms.
That's in with everything else in the house. Paul, if people would like to get in touch with Nebrasky Plumbing and Heating, and because you got free estimates, you give people ideas as to which way to go. We talked about financing. What's the best way they should do that?
NebraskyPlumbing.com is the best way. Go to
There
our
you go.
website,
Simple
our
as can be.
financing, everything's there, and get in touch with us. And any questions, send me an email. It's
That's
right
New
there.
York, New Jersey,
Definitely.
anywhere out there. Make sure you give them a call and get some ideas. Stay cool this summer.
We're
And, you know,
going to.